Does the Jeep Trailcat actually work for this kind of stuff? Not really. What is up, guys? Tomcat here, and today you join me back again in Forza Horizon 3 with another video which entails a little bit of jumping, stunts, and some off-roading. Now, I decided to take the Jeep Trailcat out, and I reset my tune on it back to factory, and then I messed with the diff settings a little bit, and I also changed the rear end, well, the differential final drive ratio up to a 456. I think it was like a 440 something. So it wasn't like, or a 430 something or a 440 something. It wasn't that big of a change from stock to a 456. I know that for sure. But it's also fully built and has well over 1,000 horsepower. So with all of that being said, I was like, I haven't driven the Trailcat in forever. So what better thing to do with it than to try, do a little bit of off-roading and then eventually wind up at the jump spot. Now, the jump spot, or well, not really the jump spot, but the stunt spot, you'll see in this video that this particular vehicle type, you would think, at least I thought, that it would be really good at, doing those barrel rolls and things like that, going into the jumps. I was so wrong. That, like, this thing is very, very hard to use for those barrel rolls and stuff like that. Just because of the fact that I think part of it has to do with its top heaviness, part of it has to do with the tire size, and I think part of it has to do with the Forza physics system doesn't like large lifted vehicles with big tires. I just personally, I don't think the Forza physics system doesn't particularly care for large tires. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the center of gravity is so much higher than usual vehicles that you would see in a game like this. But regardless, it makes it definitely a bit of a challenge to take a vehicle like this and use it for things like barrel rolls and stuff like that. Now, for jumps, this thing is wonderful. And by the way, I have no clue why the freaking game reset right there. It's not like we went out into restricted area. But this thing is great for jumps. It's great for landing jumps. It's great for, going over undulating terrain. But as far as, like, the stunts go, you're better off using something else. And why are you better off using something else? Well, you're better off using something else because there's not really that much of a... The vehicle doesn't feel very planted. And, of course, it's a Jeep. It's not supposed to feel planted like a sports car. But at the end of the day, you want some feeling of being connected to the ground, even when you're in the air, because when you return to the ground, you want to know that you're actually going to return to the ground and not just bounce all over the place. This thing is very bouncy. The suspension is set very, very soft. It's not full soft, but it's like, even from factory, it comes stock very, very soft. But I think the problem might be that when we leave, and you'll see later on in the video, when we leave the jump to go into a barrel roll, pretty sure that this thing is hitting the bump stops. And it hits the bump stops a lot. So that in itself can be a bit of an issue when you're talking about vehicles that you want to use for stunts. But the thing is, say like the R8, for example, that it's hitting its bump stops. It just doesn't have that much travel between, fully extended and fully compressed. So when you don't have that much travel between fully extended and fully compressed, the rest of the car is what's going to take up that shock. So you're not really going to get, at least, and I'm not talking about realistic-wise, I'm talking about the Forza physics system-wise, you're not going to get that much bounce out of it. This has a lot of suspension travel, so a lot of suspension travel and big, like, huge tires. So you're going to get some, some rebounding from this setup, or from really any setup like this one. And because also, the other reason why I wanted to use the Trailcat is because a lot of people are always asking me, use the Trailcat, use the Trailcat, use the Trailcat, do something with the Trailcat. And it's kind of weird, because I get frustrated with the Trailcat sometimes, because there's not a lot of things that you can go out and do with it. It's not like you can, make it like a leaderboard car for something. I mean, and as you can see, you can leave the jump smoothly, but when you leave the jump smoothly, it rotates very, very, very slowly. So that's, again, another issue with this thing, is that most of the time it will either rotate super, super slow, or it'll hit the bump stops and you'll be done. You'll be pretty much over with. So I don't know where that issue or where those issues come from. I think it's probably partially to do with the weight, and it's partially to do with the high center of gravity, and that's probably why it doesn't like to rotate as well as a lot of the other cars with lower centers of gravity do. But I think at the end of the day, you know, you should kind of know that going into this thing. I mean, you know what it is. It's a freaking JK with a Hellcat engine stuffed in it and massive tires and a ton of lift and long arms. It is not going to handle like an Audi R8. If you think this is going to handle like an Audi R8, you are greatly mistaken and need to take a course in basic mechanics. I don't know if basic mechanics would even tell you that. I mean, maybe a short Google search would, or common sense, that works too. But yeah, I think there's a lot more to be had out of this vehicle. It's just than meets the eye. First off, but it's definitely a lot harder to extract some of those things than it is in, say, a supercar. The one thing that it is really good at, though, is these single backflips with just a little bit of a twist, like a single twisting backflip. This thing is so good at them. Now, doubles, it's not so good at those, but as far as like the single backflips go, it's really good at them, and I'm not sure why. It just is. It's just really, really good at them, and again, maybe that has to do with the fact that no matter how you throw this thing at a jump, it's usually going to rotate pretty similar to the way it did the last time you hit said jump. So it's very predictable, which is good. If you like a vehicle that rotates at about the same speed every single time, then this will definitely be a good vehicle for that, and this will definitely work for you. But if you don't, then, you know, if you like a vehicle that rotates faster, or you're used to vehicles that rotate faster, not a brilliant choice. Definitely not. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, should you try it? Absolutely. Like, just go for it, see what it can do, and see how it feels to you. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and you can see, like, the past 3 times, we pretty much did about the same exact shape and the same exact flip. So it's very, very consistent, and I will say that. I will say that it's an extremely consistent vehicle, and you can do a lot of the same stunt over and over and over again with it, and pretty much expect that you're going to pull it off about the same way every single time. So, yes, at the end of the day, should you use it, or should it be in your garage for, like, stunt purposes? That's up to you. Definitely try it, you know, see what you think of it. But if you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to leave it a like. Tell me in the comments down below what you guys thought of it, and if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe for more. I'll see y'all next time. Talk to you guys later.